new Chevrolets. We also have some huge discounts on our new GMC inventory, so stop on in or check us out online at couplecars.com. Includes finance, trade, and Costco bonus with roof credit. Stock number C299464.
This is Rick Heyman from Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to our new outlet jewelry store at 12th and O in downtown Lincoln. Amazingly, we still have fabulous items we bought 1 year ago and beyond. Well, you know what an outlet store is. Unbeatable prices throughout the store. Closeouts up to 70% off. Don't delay. When it's gone, it's gone. You won't see everything on our website, so you gotta come in. The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Opening November 25th in Lincoln at 12th and O.
Old School with DP and J.
We got a special guest in. We got Jason Peters.
All that's being asked of you is everything. Like, you have to give everything that you have to that program, to that team. If you want to be a champion, that's the only way, right? I mean, you have to commit to every lifting session, every strength and conditioning session, during the summer, during the spring, whatever it may be. It just has to be 100% commitment by everybody.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big Eight tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Happy Friday. We have made it. We are here. 2 hours to go here for On the Block. Then we've got Old School, and we're off into our weekend here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I'm Austin Norman, seated to my left, the 9-year NBA vet, the Husker. Wait a minute. I fell for it. You look too similar. No, just kidding.
No. Maybe 9-year ticket vet. I think I'm coming up on that.
There you go.
But
Which is more impressive,
not
really.
Too much in the NBA. Yeah.
That's funny. I'm Austin Norman. He's Jake Bachhoven. Basically bringing your Nebraska men's basketball postgame show.
That's
to
right.
an earlier time slot. So make sure after every Nebraska men's basketball game, you stay tuned. Bach's always there. I'm typically tapping in. Maybe get Strick here and there if he's ever back in town or, watching the games the same night. But
busy guy.
He's got stuff going on. He's traveling right now. He should be back for the Michigan State game on Sunday. We'll keep you posted on that. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring our show. Again, 2 to 4 weekdays here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Busy show lined up for you guys today. We'll start off with some college basketball. But I want to get this thought percolating in your mind, Bach, and also for any listeners out there. Who are the building blocks for Husker football? On offense, defense, even throw in special teams if you want to. Who are the guys that if they were to transfer out, that Nebraska would say that's a big loss? We were depending on having them. We saw a bright future for them. That's going to be our conversation in the 3 o'clock hour. 402-464-5685 is the Sartor Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline if you have those thoughts. Also, feel free to drop a comment on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Also, big thanks to Allo for sponsoring Channel 951. All right, Bach, let's get into some basketball news. Before we talk a little Nebraska, Michigan State, a really bizarre situation coming out of the Little Apple, out of Manhattan. Notable because Nebraska will play there a week from Sunday down in Manhattan against Kansas State. Player by the name of Naquan Tomlin hadn't played this year for Kansas State, and it was just yesterday, I believe, that he got kicked off of Kansas State's team. Or just yesterday that there were statements from not only head coach Jerome Tang, but also athletic director Gene Taylor and the school president. We don't know exactly what happened. Fran Fraschilla had some thoughts that he tweeted out there that Kansas State fans didn't necessarily want to hear or like. So you hope it's nothing overly serious. You hope that if there is something, bad going on, that the resolution that needs to happen happens. But without knowing anything going on, legally or extra legally, the fascinating part of this from a basketball standpoint and really a college athletics standpoint is we might have our first true waiver wire addition. Naquan Tomlin is set to graduate from Kansas State, and he can enter the transfer portal and play right away as a graduate transfer. He could join a team at midseason.
That's very interesting. And for those that don't know, he was the third leading scorer last year Obviously, Keontae Johnson and Marquise now moved on after Kansas State. Very good players. But for Tomlin to, not have played this year, maybe won't affect Kansas State too much. They're, obviously, maybe at some point hoping that he could return to the team. But if they if they arrived at this point, I don't think it's a shock within the Kansas State athletic department that they are where they are, unless there was just some new news entering into the discussion. But again, just because of what's the dealings on, it's kind of hard to just speculate on what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, this is a guy that obviously the Kansas State made a big run last year. He was a key part to that team. That would be very interesting. Obviously with Nebraska playing them in a couple of weeks or in a couple games, that's throws into the discussion. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess it's somewhat fair. Again, I was kind of arguing with this about Ndamukong Suh. Obviously different sport, but just to be able to just jump in, go on a playoff run, is that necessarily fair? I know it's within the rules of the NFL. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking, is it fair
Spirit
to be able
of
to
the law versus letter of the law?
Right. And so, kind of a similar thing maybe could go on with Tomlin if he's allowed to join a team after starting the very same season on a different team, excuse me.
To me, it's different for Sue because he is a professional. And I think especially with the Eagles, who he's already joined at midseason, he's pretty familiar with a lot of that personnel. New DC, I know, but he's a smart enough football player, seen enough. I think it's easy to integrate him. I don't know, Naquan Tomlin from Adam, anything about the young man other than what I can read on his, bio and his stats page. But we see in college basketball, at least pre-transfer portal immediate eligibility, is that sometimes, like in the case of a Derek Walker, a guy would have to sit out for a half a season. Isaac Copeland did that at Nebraska as well. So it's one thing to integrate a guy into your team at midseason. It's another to add a player to your team at midseason. He hasn't learned the system, doesn't have summer ball in fall camp with this team. He's a talented player, maybe not the best shooter, but shoots 50% inside the arc. Like you said, the third leading scorer on a team that made it into the second weekend of March Madness. That's a piece I think a lot of coaches would be able to talk themselves into finding a spot on their roster for. Now, that's a tough conversation to have if you have to kick someone off scholarship. Maybe you make him walk on, and that's kind of his, penance to a degree, maybe, as he has to pay his own way to be able to play basketball. I don't know, Buck. I don't know if I, as a coach, would be fully comfortable integrating a guy that way in mid-season, but maybe someone that just thinks they can take a chance on the talent says, yeah, sure, come, we'll take you.
Yeah, I wondered too. I mean, I think you're right. It just has to be the right fit. I mean, at Nebraska, I don't know if you'd be looking for that. There's in most schools, I think maybe the Power 5 type of level. I know that's more of a football term, but those major conferences, because you're right. There's a lot of egos. There's a lot of personalities that you're dealing with there. You would just kind of have to think of where you are. You'd almost have to be somewhat desperate to try to bring him in. Maybe a coach that's on the hot seat needs a big year. Things haven't started off well, that sort of situation. Maybe you could see it playing in there. Or, at a place where he played at that level of Kansas State, being the third leading scorer, he could be a big coup for somebody that's a mid-major, looking for a guy that could come in and not just be part of the team, but maybe be your best player or one of your key figures right away. So maybe you could see that kind of playing into to this situation. I'm interested to see where it goes. And certainly it was. I don't know. I don't know if it was expected to be resolved before Nebraska necessarily. It wasn't trending in the right direction, obviously, in the last couple of days. So as far as the Nebraska part of it, I just don't think that it particularly matters too much. Other than what would have been, I guess, the worst case scenario for Nebraska is he was deemed eligible, out of the gate. But then even still, he's integrating to the team. And then the other part of it is just what we saw against Minnesota last night. They lost, the last game out. They lost their leading scorer. Like some of these things that you would think would be a big benefit for Nebraska doesn't always turn out that way one way or the other. But again, I don't think this hurts the current Kansas State team because they've been playing without him.
That's totally fair. And we'll see what Kansas State looks like. Definitely not as good right now as they were last year. I think Jerome Tang's a good coach. I think he more than deserved that shot. I'm glad to see a really good dude have success year one at Kansas State, even though it did mean a surprisingly resounding victory over Nebraska. Made more sense by the end of the year than it did back in December. But let's turn our attention to this Nebraska men's basketball team here, Bach. It's hard to say this is a season-defining game for Nebraska. They're not going to be favored against a fringe top 25 team in Michigan State that was ranked in the top 5 or top 10 to begin the year. This is a game that both teams need desperately. I cannot emphasize desperately enough. Nebraska has looked bad against 2 of the 3 high major teams it's played now, and Oregon State barely qualifies as a high major team. Michigan State did essentially what Minnesota did to Nebraska last year on this very court. It was later in the year, of course, toward the end of the regular season. But Michigan State's 4-4 overall. They lost their conference opener to Wisconsin, who looks better than I gave them credit for coming into the year. My jury's still out on Wisconsin, but a top 10 team starting the year out 4-4 with all the experience that Michigan State had returning. And then, of course, Nebraska, who, yes, had that 7-0 runway that Strick and I have talked a lot about, how it was good for this team to build confidence, but it's kind of soul-searching right now. Just in terms of the intangibles, is this a bigger game for Nebraska? Michigan State, is it equal?
I guess this reminds me of just kind of who's the basketball school. I think it's bigger for Michigan State because of the pressure that's going to be applied there at Tom Izzo. Like if Nebraska loses to Michigan State, yes, Michigan State's down, but it's not altogether unexpected, right?
Sure.
While it would be frustrating, Nebraska does need the victory. Feels like there's still time to correct what should have been a victory against Minnesota. You don't necessarily have to get that out of the way by getting an upset here against Michigan State. And just the reverse of that, where Michigan State is not doing well. Now they have played Arizona a couple weeks ago to 6 points. I mean, that's the number 1 team in the country. So it's not like they totally just aren't can't play or anything.
You forgot the most important game.
What's that?
They lost to Duke.
Well, the Duke game. Yeah, absolutely. But and that's the context of some of this is 3 of their 4 losses are to ranked teams right now. So, but at Michigan State, that's not an excuse. I think you would be crossing that line for Michigan State and Sparty of, this is a bad start, but it's Izzo and into, oh no, we just lost to a team that lost to Minnesota. And that's where Nebraska is right now. And it's frustrating because Nebraska coming into the year, I know the media, didn't pick them as high as some of us locals would like to think that they should have been. And then it takes one game into the Big Ten to go, oh yeah, they're probably right. Nebraska has to prove it before we should buy into it. And that's where Nebraska is. But again, how about a chance at redemption? How about a chance to immediately pretty much erase that Minnesota loss? Not completely from history. It's a long season, whether you get this win or not. But if you can split Big Ten 1-1 before you get your little break and get back into Big Ten play here in January, that's where you kind of expect it to be. If it's a home and away, it all would work out. But all that being said, I don't necessarily expect it.
I'm with you. Let's turn our attention to something Fred Hoiberg said in his press conference today. He says, quote, "We're not physical enough right now. That's what it boils down to. I'd love to give you 10 reasons why, but that's it. You've got to be more physical. You have to take more pride in it. You have to get sick of getting punked at some point." Love that from Coach Hoiberg. Being physical obviously means rebounding. That's where Minnesota took advantage of it. But even in terms of setting and fighting over screens on either offense or defense, Creighton exposed that flaw for Nebraska, that they're not necessarily a great screening team. Nebraska, maybe not the most athletic team in the conference. So, yes, I do think Nebraska needs to have more of that edge that comes with being more physical. But I don't think this Nebraska team is a physical team, not a bruising team. Maybe there's more in Mass, maybe there's more in Alec, maybe there's more in Gary, potentially. But I think other teams in the Big Ten are still going to be stronger than Nebraska, more athletic than Nebraska, which to me, Bach, makes 2 things paramount: ball movement and shooting. If you're not going to be able to bang down low with some of the big bodies, or even on the perimeter, you're getting hand checked and not being able to get your first step past guys, you need to be in sync as a team, everyone in the right spot at the right time. And you got to shoot. You got to shoot the ball well. That's how you overcome those. You trade 2s on offensive rebounds and stickbacks for 3s on the other end. Nebraska is not shooting well enough. Nebraska is not moving crisply enough. is not crisp enough on offense.
Shout out JD Crisp.
Yes, like JD Crisp, I guess. Coco Crisp was my guy.
Coco Crisp, yeah. We can both agree on that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Kansas City shirt on, I got the Boston shirt on. Coco Crisp, guys. Any A's fans around here can come join us?
Right. Big shouts Coco Crisp. But I don't necessarily think Nebraska needs to be more physical as long as it's going to shoot the ball better. Because I don't think Nebraska has the bodies to match up with just how tough, physical, strong, athletic the rest of the Big Ten is. So that's where Nebraska needs to find its niche. Why can't Nebraska lean into being Iowa? Like, yeah, I know fans want to see more defense. You don't want to go quite that extreme. But Nebraska's advantage over most of these Big Ten teams is going to be skill, is going to be perimeter more so than interior. So you need to be physical enough, but I think you also just have to move the ball better and shoot better to negate some of your limitations in that area.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nebraska doesn't have the most physical roster, but in order to, combat the physicality of the other teams, they need to optimize the physicality, the physicality that they do have. And that's going to be mostly among your forwards, your centers, your bigs, guys that go in there, like you said, Gary. So I do kind of go back to something you said in the post-game show, which is like, what is Nebraska's strength? Like, and you can kind of try to think, you can throw a lot of bodies at people, but if some of your bodies are, 2 of your bench guys aren't scoring a point in the game, then how much is it really helping? They can shoot, but at the same time, 32% from beyond the arc feels like a lot of Hoiberg teams where we kind of say that at times and they can get hot, but ultimately, you got to get to 35% from beyond the arc.
36, 37 at a minimum, which is where Nebraska was the first few games. They were at that 35.5%, 36.5% mark. And that's a bare minimum for me. I think for Nebraska to have taken that next step into legit NCAA tournament consideration, which obviously there's still time for, we're not going to write it off after, one conference game.
Yeah.
But Nebraska needs to be not just a good shooting team, but a really good shooting team, and that's 37, 38%. You don't have to lead the nation and be up at, 40, 41, 42. If you're there, great. But I think 37, 38 is enough. 35, 36 is kind of the bare minimum for a team that plays the style it seems like Nebraska's going to have to.
Yeah, but I mean, I agree with you. The problem is that, they've just had so many Hoiberg teams that you're hoping and feel like there's enough shooters to get there, and they're always finishing 32, 33%. So, I mean, it needs to get better. They need to shoot better. You got to find different ways to get guys going. But I'm really interested, too, in kind of the Bryce Williams takeover of the first half. Obviously, this past game against Minnesota, completely couldn't get it done in the second half, started to get frustrated, getting his own fouls and getting his own way there. But I like you feel like that he could be the leading scorer of this team, that he's going to have to be the guy that kind of takes that spot, and that Tominaga is kind of better as a secondary option that, on certain nights is going to go off and get you, lead your team in scoring. But I think he's got to develop into that and kind of know where that is, because there are other games, the game before against Grady, he took 6 shots. Like, I think Bryce Williams, as this team's getting enough into the season to identify those roles, he's got to realize he's got to be 13, 14 and above night in and night out, and going to be a key piece to what the defense is going to, tone in on, because he is a 3-level scorer. Not fantastic at every level, but he is a guy that should be able to get a bucket here and there if they need him to. And that's something that they really have had trouble going to these last 2 games, is when they need a bucket. It's like they've been sharing the responsibility to kind of find that guy who is it, and nobody's hitting it. And so they just kind of keep moving to the next guy. They haven't had that person to step up and make that big shot to stop the run, stop the bleeding, put a couple buckets together and say, hey, we're right in this game, even though it hasn't gone our way the last couple minutes.
Bryce Williams was well on his way to his first 30-point game. I said he was going to get 30 at least a couple times this year for Nebraska before the year. Thought I was looking, at least on pace for that prediction before the wheels fell off for not just him, but everyone on Nebraska there, especially early in that second half, and they could just never, get that replacement set of tires. Bach, I don't have a good feeling about Sunday. I want to give Nebraska a chance. I don't think they're as bad as these last 2 games have shown. I think they're going to come out motivated and ready to play. I just hate this matchup. I think Sissoko's an athletic big that can run the floor pretty well. I think that Malik Hall can go off at any point in time. They have some really good athletes behind those 2 guys in the post. But it boils down to guard play for me. We talked about Nebraska's guard depth, but I don't think anyone on Nebraska's roster is as good as either Hogard or Walker, and both guys are still there. They're both studs that know how to shoot the basketball, that know how to get to their spots, that can pass it, defend at a high enough level. I think Walker and Hogard have big games on Sunday, and if they do, I worry about Nebraska's ability to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, and it's a particularly tough matchup, but it is, I mean, it's Michigan State. You're supposed to, it's kind of like when you played Kansas in the Big 12. You're not supposed to have the matchup favorites. You just got to find a way to grind it out and get a victory. And Michigan State, as we've seen this year, especially, the first game, they can go through shooting slumps of their own. So you make sure you're playing good defense, hand down, man down. You got to make it tough on Michigan State as much as you can on those guards, on those shots. And again, it's kind of is that grind it out. And that's what I'm a little bit worried about is when you're playing up, when you're punching up, you've got to win the hustle points. You've got to win the loose balls. You got to win the rebounding, the boxing out. And that's exactly what melted down against Minnesota. So maybe because you were so poor at it and so bad at it the previous half of basketball that you played, the emphasis will be there, and maybe that can help them get to a jump start, especially in the first half. But this is a 40-minute game, and that's where Nebraska kind of failed to play against Minnesota. Michigan State's going to be a step up from that. So, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's a great matchup. I don't think that Nebraska necessarily feels like in a position to win this game. But again, I think that can kind of help if they do turn around. I mean, change the narrative of what this is, and in the very least, put up a fight against Michigan State. You're kind of in a situation there too, where even if you don't get the win, if you can lose by 8 or 9 points or less, it's like, okay, that's a step up from what we saw against Minnesota.
We'll end the segment with this from 0486 on the Sartor Heyman text line. If you have any thoughts, 402-464-5685. 0486 says, I'm sort of puzzled with the idea that you guys have with a non-athletic roster. I think it's better than it's been. What makes us say this? Yes, it's better than it's been. Yes, every single one of those guys is a better athlete than I ever have been or will be in my life. Probably not as good as Bach. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, but better than me at least. But I say that because let's just think about the guys on Nebraska's team. And there are a lot of different ways to judge athleticism, but I'm talking about speed. I'm talking about leaping ability. I'm speaking of change of direction and quickness that just pop, right? Keisei Tominaga is a little herky-jerky, has some good change of direction, but he's a smooth type of guy. Bryce Williams can dunk, maybe not the fastest guy in a straight line, can still get beat off the dribble, not the quickest feet, not the most explosive hips. DeMarcus Lawrence, fast in a straight line, but you don't see that same intensity with the footwork and the quickness to poke many balls out on defense. He's not a stopper at the point of attack. Juwan Gary's athletic, like he's probably the best athlete on the team. He's got that speed. He's got that run and jump ability. Alec has some leaping ability, pretty fast, but looked outmatched by Ola Joseph and Payne. Rink Mast has good footwork for a big man, is definitely quicker and more mobile for his position than like a Zach Edey, but not necessarily, again, at that Ola Joseph or Payne level, not at Matty Sissoko's level, not at Julian Reese's level from Maryland, I don't think. Sam Hoiberg, I think, has some of that pest in him, but his size is a bit of a limitation. And it bears out in these ways, 0486. Nebraska doesn't beat a whole lot of guys off the dribble one-on-one, still gets beat off the dribble one-on-one. Nebraska doesn't block a lot of shots despite being in position. And there's just not that lockdown defender. There's not that pop, that burst all that much. If Nebraska was more athletic, they'd be in more passing lanes. They'd be up tighter to guys, not scared of them being able to drive by them. You'd see more, pick and roll with a lob to Josiah Alec or Juwan Gary that we haven't seen a lot of. So yes, Nebraska can be more athletic than it has been, but there are certain elements that are missing that just don't come into play for Nebraska as much as they do for some other teams in those important ways.
Yeah, no, I'd completely agree with you. It's not something that's going to hurt them every matchup. It's not, they don't come across as overly unathletic or anything like that. But it just, like you said, just not a whole lot of pop in how it kind of plays throughout, you watch a game. And that's fine. Like you can be a good basketball player without overwhelming athleticism. But I was just,
But you got to be especially skilled then.
right. But I was just like, I was just tweeted out about this because I saw Trey McGowan's dunk, like just dunks. Nebraska doesn't have a whole lot of dunks. Like Trey McGowan's would go in absolutely gamut.
Trey was an athlete. Bryce was smooth.
Right. And so, but you just kind of thinking, I was thinking about like the best dunkers of all time at Nebraska, and Isaiah Roby came to mind, and
Dubio KK could get up.
Yeah, there's some names. So it's kind of fun. Kerry Cohorn was texting me about some of the names because I left off some of the older names, which is fair.
Like Eric Strickland.
yeah, like Strick. But I mean, it's pretty clear you don't have one of those guys, and so I mean. Comparing Nebraska's athleticism at time to past Nebraska's athleticism for the teams isn't always a great idea. There's been years in the mid 2000s, I think, when they didn't have a guy that could dunk. So, I mean, he kind of moved on past that. And of course, I'm joking a little bit, but it's not the most unathletic like group that Nebraska's put together or anything like that. It doesn't pop at you. So, I mean, there are going to be matchups where they have an athletic edge, but it's never going to be, it would seemingly be difficult unless you're playing a very bad non-con team to be like overwhelming, like your athleticism overwhelming the opposer team.
0486, you are welcome, and you are now the Virginia Pirate. That is your text name for your request. Thanks for texting in. Thanks for listening. If you want to be like Virginia Pirate and be a part of the show, you can at 402-464-5685 or on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Drop a comment and we'll see it and get to it as necessary. We'll talk some more hoops. We'll talk plenty of college football and more as we continue on the block. He's Jake Bachhoven. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's on 93.7 The Ticket.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting free workout for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want the most out of their workout. Anarchy can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
This is Rick Heyman from Sartor Heyman Jewelers, inviting you to our new outlet jewelry store at 12th and O in downtown Lincoln. Amazingly, we still have fabulous items we bought 1 year ago and beyond. Well, you know what an outlet store is. Unbeatable prices throughout the store. Closeouts up to 70% off. Don't delay. When it's gone, it's gone. You won't see everything on our website, so you gotta come in. The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Opening November 25th in Lincoln at 12th and O.
School taught you all about the four seasons, spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons. Football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolateseason.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Also want to shout out, hold it up, Good Sense. It's Good Sense Friday here at 93.7. Take me if I put it in front of my face, you can see. Big shout out to Good Sense, part of the Venue line of restaurants, for bringing us lunch, sandwiches, and such every Friday. Really appreciate them. Good to have Rico back in the building. He just got back from the volleyball press conference. Huskers sweep Georgia Tech yesterday to move on to their 11th Elite Eight in the last dozen years. Play for a spot in the Final Four tomorrow evening. Bach, we turn our attention from college basketball to the NBA. I want Strick's thoughts on this once he gets back, but the in-season tournament seems like it's been going pretty well for the NBA. The courts look terrible, but they have people talking, and the storylines have been great. I know your Celtics just bowed out. They lost to the Bucks, didn't they?
No, they lost.
They lose to the Pacers.
I think they lost to the Pacers, yeah.
The Pacers who make it out of the eastern side of the pool play. And the Lakers probably don't deserve to be here. That timeout that was granted to Austin Reeves in the quarters wasn't good. But I think this has been, through everything but the championship game of this in-season tournament, a pretty rousing success for the NBA. It's gotten people talking. It's changed the conversation. And instead of having just games sprinkled here and there throughout the evenings, they've drawn attention to certain games on certain nights, which boosts the ratings, that highlight stars. Obviously, LeBron being in it. Pelicans have some stars. The Celtics and the Bucks lineups, but even really the breakout of Tyrese Halliburton and this number one in the NBA offense in Indiana. I think the NBA's got to be pretty thrilled with how this has played out so far.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that, like, you're right. I mean, I'm kind of cheering for Indiana just because I think that would be the better story. And it's kind of interesting because obviously this is new to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's
new to American sports.
Yeah,
really.
just in general, it's kind of just a trial run type of scenario. But I don't know what would be better. Like, would it be better if Boston had won this, or, Bucks, or just, somebody that was supposedly a favorite, and then maybe they could, like, it's hard to imagine Boston hanging a banner for this. You know what I mean? Like, Indiana might do it. And that's part of it. But I mean, the other part of it is just like, I was interested to see, would this be like a semi playoffs? And it's not. You're getting different stories mixed in. You're getting, a different idea of what maybe the Pacers could be in the East. And then the Lakers making their run in the West. It's intriguing. I like you. I hate the courts. I think that was a big, that's one big mistake that they've made throughout this. But I think it's been a good idea. All that to be said is, and I don't know if you would agree with me, but this is what I say, is that it highlights to me a little bit, and this isn't to devalue the NBA. This is basically devaluing most playoffs. A single elimination tournament is somewhat random and doesn't always get you the best champions. Now, the NCAA tournament, as random and crazy as it is, and sometimes you don't get seemingly the best team that year, it's always like the same 6 teams that end up winning the championship. So somehow that that kind of plays out in their favor. But I don't care if Indiana or the Lakers win. I'm still not convinced either of those teams are top 5 teams in the league.
No, I mean, the Lakers are still figuring a lot of stuff out, and the Pacers are working their way onto the scene, right? The Lakers are old, the Pacers are young, 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. LeBron is established, Tyrese Halliburton in, even Miles Turner to some degree, Buddy Hield as an under the radar kind of name are still ascending. So it's not a true championship. It's not. It's, regular season games that are spiced up, but that's fine. The NBA had to try to do something. The basketball has been competitive. You have the point differential come in the group play. The single elimination, again, is just so different from anything that's been done that at the same time, we don't necessarily have to take the results seriously. It seems like the players are taking this idea of pool play and knockout a little more seriously than they would just a random, Wednesday night game.
Yeah, and obviously it's an NBA. You get resting and stuff like that, so you don't want to. It is add a little bit to it, and I love it. I especially for the NBA, which for many don't pay attention, in general till football season's over or till Christmas. Whatever you're kind of in the taste for. Some that don't care too much wait till the playoffs in general, but. The NBA season, especially early on, is so overshadowed by the NFL, college football, everything that's kind of going on right now, that this does kind of highlight it and give it a little bit more to talk about. And so I've loved that aspect of it. I think it's cool, the stories that you're having go through it. And I'm a Celtics fan, so the reason, I might be especially cheering against the Lakers, but I also understand where the Lakers are. Like, if the Pacers, I want to win because I think that'd be a great story, but the Lakers, maybe the NBA wants to win. I'm not saying referees or anything like that, but in general, anything to hype up that crowd, the Lakers, and that market, obviously, LeBron, everything that goes along with it, would be huge for them to feel like, okay, they're a lot more viable than maybe we thought. I'm just interested to see, too, because I thought when this original idea came out, the timing of the playoff is certainly interesting because I think you could factor in the results or feel like you could factor in the results closer to the playoffs if it was just before All-Star break or something like that. Whereas it's so early in the season, you could have a point where the Lakers win this and then lose 8 straight in March. And then, how much are we going to take this seriously? So it's certainly interesting, but it's did a great job of getting eyeballs on the sport. And I think too, for the NBA, that's just huge for where we are right now, or where we are in the season.
Would it be better if this did take place closer to the All-Star break, where you're playing, these pool play games in January, and then the tournament is in early February before the All-Star break? Because that feels like that's kind of the dead period for the NBA when it's like just the slog trying to get through it. I get why they're doing it now early in the season, drum up excitement and try to steal some of those eyeballs. But I almost wonder if this tournament takes place in February, closer to, number one, the All-Star break, also the trade deadline, right? I think it would be a better snapshot of teams and maybe more of a playoff preview. But then that might go against some of what the NBA wants in guaranteeing, the team that wins it an automatic berth to the postseason if it's a team that wouldn't have qualified.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, In a way, that would even make it a little bit more interesting too. So the teams that are at the bottom, lottery teams, at least still have a shot at some point to find their way into the playoffs toward the end. Whereas, there's certain teams 2 months to go, they're just playing younger guys and basically trying to lose to get to the lottery. So that could spice it up. I think before All-Star Week would be really cool, like leading in, like if you could have the championship game before the break. That would be awesome, but it would completely overshadow the All-Star game. Like, you go from a game with like pretty, big enough stakes, or as big as you can get for a regular season game, into the All-Star game where you just wouldn't care at all.
But isn't that fine? Like, I know the NBA wants All-Star Weekend and everything that comes with it, but if the players aren't going to try hard, if the draft hasn't gone over well and it's been a little awkward sometimes, guys can still have their vacation, right? Like, you can play the championship game and make sure that those teams still do get their 3-4 day break before playing again. But I think this would drum up more interest than saying we have to force NBA All-Star Weekend.
Well, it could be. I mean, we've been looking for a way to solve this problem for years. Maybe it is to slide that championship game into All-Star Weekend. Like you said, maybe have the All-Stars play their scrimmage or whatever it is on the Friday night, and actually have that a game that counts and a game that means something as far as an in-season tournament champion on All-Star Weekend. I think that could be a solving problem for that. So, I mean, that's something they can look out for. Again, this is just kind of a trial run. And then the other kind of question is, can you have more than one? And would that take away from the one? If you kind of separate it, would it be kind of, year after year, you can have your in season, then your All-Star break, or you have your early season, then All-Star break tournament champions. And, how much do these things really matter? And I mean, I think there's just going to be a part of that regardless. If you just keep it to one, it might feel a little bit more important. But again, you just kind of we have to kind of wait for the results because again, what does it mean if one of these teams win and then they're a 4, 5, 6 seed in the playoffs and get knocked out round one? Are they going to again, do you hang a banner? Do you at least
in
something
season
that
tournament
says,
1 seed?
Right. I just don't know. I don't know what to me, it just kind of reminds me of maybe like a college basketball tournament invitational that you do early in the season. You don't hang banners for those, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. And you get a little mini championship out of it, and then your next game's just as important.
Right. The 52-68 will take us to break with this. What if the winner of the in-season tournament got to select one playoff series where they would automatically overturn home court advantage and get to host 4 home games as a lower seed? On its face, it seems a little dramatic. I think that would be a big enough reward for a lot of teams to push, especially because you see Denver's not in it. You see Boston at the top of the East, isn't it? Not Milwaukee, not Philly, not Phoenix. It would be huge if a team's going to sneak in as the 8 seed and get, 2 home games to start out against the 1 seed. That'd be huge. But I think there's also a reason that Major League Baseball did away with that sort of thing. I just give it to the team with the best record for the regular season because it's still a bigger sample size and still means more over the long run.
Yeah, there's definitely the reward for this. You kind of have to find something that's worth enough that it's worth going for, but not overwhelming because it really shouldn't matter all that much. Is it currently that they get an automatic playoff berth?
They're if they wouldn't have qualified for the playoffs, they get at least into the play-in round.
The play-in,
yeah,
that's fair because play-in's already 10 teams in the play-in games. You're already having teams under 500 get in.
Because both these teams are probably playoff teams.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that automatic berth to the 10 seed given away very often.
Yeah. I mean, because the only thing you'd worry about is somebody, resting, if you guaranteed playoff spot, somebody resting all their stars too much and not caring about seeding or something as much down the line. But that is, with the idea in line is that whoever wins this tournament it's supposed to be a showcase for who the best in the NBA is, teams that are already on their way to the playoffs. And I think both these teams are, although we're saying they're not, ultimately feel like maybe title contenders as of yet. They're at least playoff teams that we expect to see. So I think that's fair. And I am enjoying it. Again, outside of the courts.
He's Bach. I'm Austin. This is On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. We'll take a break, wrap up hour 1 of the show after this.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting increasing fog cover throughout the day. Meanwhile, we'll see a high of around 56. Tonight, mainly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early on. Otherwise, we'll see a low of around 31. And tomorrow, partly sunny and a little windy. See a high of around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Puckett for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
School taught you all about the 4 seasons, spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons. Football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolateseason.com.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the block, Austin Norman, Jake Bachhofen, joined by a couple special guests. Rico to my left, DP all the way around the table. Gentlemen, welcome to the 2 o'clock hour.
Special guest. I was looking at the sign. I'm looking at the little sign here. The Mill Coffee Cold Brew Cream Ale.
Legit. I've had it twice this week.
Cold Brew Cream. Bach, have you tried it yet?
I have not tried that yet.
Okay, so we need to make sure that we get you tried. How much time do we have in there? Like 3 minutes. Maybe we can have you
Couple minutes
top
here.
top of the hour. We can get you a sip of that. Very cool. We have some really cool things happening at the ticket. There's some really cool things happening.
Just a couple things.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. I'll answer a text I just got. Is DP okay? He hasn't been on air. DP is concussed. So I have pockets of clarity, and I work really hard in those pockets. And then I go home and I get in a dark room and I go to sleep.
I thought you were following Dr. Foreman's orders and sleeping it off.
Yeah,
today,
I'm just, but I wanted to do this thing today and celebrating the young ladies from the volleyball team. Say that, but also, years ago when I first got here, Rico just refused. He was not going to do anything on air. He wasn't going to do it. He only wanted to do what he wanted to do.
I was behind the scenes guy. That was me.
Yeah, he didn't want to do this thing, but he dove into the volleyball coverage thing, and I'm so proud of him, so thrilled. And the only appropriate celebration for Rico is this, right? The
What is
only
that?
appropriate, the
What is
only
that?
appropriate, the only appropriate thing way to celebrate Rico.
There we go.
Over the beanie off.
Right,
There you go.
right,
Beanie has
like
to come off.
right. The only appropriate way for yeah, like that. That is the volleyball
Sneak into the
tribute.
student section now.
Right?
I mean, I look like a student.
Right. So so you've seen the videos of John Cook wearing the cowboy hat.
Yeah, giddy up, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. And it just, to me, I saw it today and they were made available and I went, okay, you know what? Well done. But here's the part too. Like, so Rico, thank you for what you do. Thank you for how you've done it.
Thank you for allowing me
Like
to.
it's greatly appreciated to watch you grow and kind of evolve in this thing. It means a lot. So I just want to say that, but I'm not selfish. And so what we're going to do, Austin, you, Jay, etc., over the 4 to 6 and from 3 to 6, you guys can come up with some way to give away one more.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Cook cowboy
Okay.
hat.
Right?
Nice.
So you guys can figure it out and let the listeners know what they have to do. Now, again, it's Friday. Mercado could be the answer. Big Red Shop could be the answer. It could be any. Let's make them.
How about this? First person that buys Bach a coffee and cream ale gets the hat.
I think that's fantastic.
First person to come down to 1040 O Street, buy Bach a coffee and cream ale, gets the Nebraska cowboy hat.
Well, then they'll say, but the close proximity wins. I would say that here's the thing. For anybody, if you want to be you could do a raffle for it.
Yeah.
For anybody that comes in and buys a beverage over the next 3 hours, like we put them in a raffle, and then that way everybody gets a shot. We've got the pad right there in front of Bach. Bach can be the king and ruler. It's just, he's like, listen, if you're first, we'll give you 2.
Oh, there you go.
Right, we'll give you 2 interests in it.
Box decision.
But everybody has a chance to get in.
This is a high quality hat, by
It
the
is
way.
a
You're
very
like,
nice
just
hat.
looking
Smoker.
so close to it. And like, this is very well
This
put
is
together.
a smoke show hat, man. It is a smoke.
Rico, you wearing that to Tampa?
No, I can't.
On the plane, you can.
I can. No, I'm leaving it. No, the thing is, I'm leaving it here so my wife can wear it during the matches.
Which of your kids would wear it better? Maybe that's unfair.
Probably KJ.
You think?
Yeah. Although Ellie would wear it and immediately turn into a cowgirl.
I
So-
think we would. I think we're going to see pictures of that.
Oh,
We'll
definitely.
be able to.
I'm gonna take it home, and they're
Yeah.
just gonna be like, "That's my hat." And I'm
Yeah.
like,
There's nothing.
Whatever, dude.
There's nothing you can do
That's
about
usually
it.
what it's just like. Whatever. Whatever. That's the normal answer with these kids. It's
Yeah.
just whatever.
Yeah. So I think the first one gets double.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You get 2
entries.
chances. Right.
Mhm.
And then I would say that if you get here before old school starts, we'll give you 2 entrance.
First person gets 4.
Uh-huh.
Before 4, you
There we
get
go.
2.
There we go.
And then if Bach's still around after 4, you'll get 1. If not,
And then you guys will announce
Jay
the
and I are
winner.
still
You'll
here.
announce the winner at 5:30.
That's the plan.
Perfect deal. So you got to come down to 1040 O Street, come down the mill.
There you go, Bach.
Say hi to Bach. Give Bach a high five. Like, Bach's going to have a good Friday.
Bach gets a beer. Rico gets a Twitter follow
You know,
for volleyball coverage.
Right. And you
Rico
can buy
AC.
coffee. You can buy coffee if
Emily
you want
Bach's-
to do. You want to buy him a coffee, or you got smoothies, you got energy drinks, you've got delicious items in the fridge.
All the good stuff.
You could take care of Bach Day. This is a perfect way for you to take care of Bach.
I don't think Bach's driving home.
But I think
First person to buy Bach a beer and an Uber.
yeah. I think that's the winner. Like, I think that would be the winner. Is a beer and an Uber is the winner.
Your wife's just like, weren't you at work? Like,
I was. It was a good day. So
That's
all right,
awesome.
I'm getting out of your way now.
That's what's at play. Stay tuned. Hour 2 of On the Block comes your way here in just a sec. We'll go building blocks for Husker football. Augie is already in on the text line with a couple of options for guys that he wants to see Nebraska build around. Let us know those guys that are important in your mind for Husker football, 402-464-5685, or on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Hour 2 of On the Block with Austin and Bach after this.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Join Planet Fitness now and get the PF Black Card for only $24.99 a month. You'll enjoy an upgraded experience with tons of perks.
Like access to more than 2,000 locations worldwide?
Yep.
And massage chairs?
Yes.
Can I bring a friend every time?
Sure.
Can my friend be a horse?
Nay. Sorry. Get the PF Black Card and feel fit-tacular. Only $24.99 a month. Our most popular membership, the PF Black Card, is your ticket to getting all the perks. Join today. See Club for details.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
It's the holiday season. Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apple, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben sandwich or the Prime Rib French dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space. School taught you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting increasing cloud cover throughout the day. Meanwhile, we'll see a high of around 56. Tonight, mainly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early on. Otherwise, we'll see a low of around 31. And tomorrow, partly sunny and a little windy. We'll see a high of around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Crockett for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show requires your involvement. Who are the players currently on Nebraska football's roster that you view as building blocks? We've got Augie in on the text line already. We'll get to those names on offense, defense, and special teams, but let us know your thoughts at 402-464-5685 or on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I'm Austin Orman. He is Jake Bachhoven. Here talking some Husker football to lead off hour 2. Don't forget, the standing offer is if you come down and you buy Bach a beer, you get 10 entries if it's before 4 o'clock, so in the next 50 minutes or so. You get 4 entries then after 4 o'clock. First person gets 10. Anyone before 4 o'clock gets 4. And then after that, it's 1 or 2 entries to win the cowboy hats. Not sparkly, but it's workmanlike. Got the rope cord around it, the rope drawstring. It's red with the white end on the front. It's a killer hat. Get your way down here, buy Bach a beer, maybe an Uber ride too if there's too many of you and you're just the automatic winner. And that's how we'll give that hat away. Probably during Old Schools when that winner will be announced. All right, Bach, we turn our attention to the transfer portal for Husker football, but who does Nebraska need to keep out of the transfer portal? Who are those building blocks for this Nebraska football team? Would you like to start on offense or defense?
Let's start on defense, I think, because offense is a give me some time to think.
All right. So here's the list that I came up with on defense in terms of building blocks. Now, guys that aren't on my list include Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmaker. They're back, right? They're not entering the transfer portal, barring something incredibly unforeseen. I'm talking freshmen and sophomores, maybe juniors that haven't seen the field a whole lot. The guys that, if they went in the transfer portal with some unrealized potential, would hurt, a la Ernest Hausman, that sort of departure. Maybe Casey Rogers to some degree. But on defense, going level by level, I come up with 4 defensive linemen. Your 2 freshman All-Americans in Cameron Lenhart, Princewell, Unman-Mielen. I come up with Riley Van Poppel, who made some nice plays, and Maverick Noonan, who was flashing in fall camp before he suffered the knee injury. Moving back a level or a level and a half, I think Javen Wright is a guy you really want to keep around. Regardless of if Isaac Gifford stays or goes, Javen Wright's a playmaker. It really came on by the end of the year. I think he's a guy you want to invest more and more time into and get him into a starring role. And then in the defensive backfield, I think Malcolm Hartzog's a guy that was up and down this year, but has shown the talent and the potential. I like having him around. And then your 2 safeties, Deshaun Singleton and Marquise Buford. So those are the 8 guys that I have listed as the building blocks for Nebraska football on defense.
That's interesting. I think another one that I might throw in there is Mekhi Bayer. I know he came on early on in the season, but especially at linebacker where you've got some question marks if John Bullock doesn't return. Obviously, you're losing Luke Reimer. Nick Henrich is calling it a career. That'd be another one I would start to worry about depth there. I mean, he played enough that I think that he's good enough to be in there. And then I don't know if you mentioned Jamari Butler. I think that he should be probably a name to that Nebraska. I mean, he entered the transfer portal one time, came back to Nebraska. Really feel like he's due for a pretty good season with all the other defensive linemen and playing from that jack linebacker spot. I could see him have a big year, and I wouldn't want to see that wasted away or, quite frankly, done somewhere else if he entered the transfer portal.
Jamari Butler was a tough cut from my list. I get it. I'm not as sold on him as I am the rest of the guys. I think Nebraska could make up for him more easily than some of the other guys. But Augie on the text line 402-464-5685 agrees with you. The 2 guys that he says from defense are Cam Lenhart and Jamari Butler. The idea of Jamari Butler and the idea of Javen Wright, I think they're similar stories at different positions. I think you like the potential of both of those guys that had far and away their best seasons at Nebraska this year, and you want to keep them around. Definitely, I think they can be playmakers. Anyone on special teams do you think is an absolute surefire keeper?
No, not after this year. I mean, I think you absolutely love the upside in the story of Tristan Alvano, and you wouldn't want to see him go anywhere. It's nothing like that. I just don't know if he played at a level to a point that you're going, well, that's unreplaceable. Now, he did hit a 55-yarder, so the leg that's going to be kind of tough to replace if they did lose him. And then I think he had an up and down punting year. So, and then nothing really special out of the kick return. So I wouldn't say so. And that's probably just reflective that the special teams didn't have a very good year.
They did not. I still think you want to keep Alvano around. I think he's on the Drew Brown trajectory. Struggle a bit as a freshman, get better as a sophomore, essentially Mr. Reliable as a junior and a senior. So I think you keep Tristan Alvano around as long as you can. Let's have the conversation then on offense. I would say as well, Tony White, getting him back as defensive coordinator, at least to this point, definitely counts as a building block. So I'm going to throw Tony White in that conversation. Going level by level on the Nebraska offense. To me, again, Ben Scott not on this list because he's essentially back, said he's back, not a risk to enter the transfer portal, I don't believe. There's one guy on the offensive line that I think is absolutely for sure a building block. It's not Bryce Benhart, who plays some of the best football of his Nebraska career this year. It's not Teddy Prohaska, who was solid once he came on from injury. It's not Turner Corcoran, who got hurt during the year. To me, the one building block for the future is Justin Evans-Jenkins. Thrust into a backup role at guard, where, a lot of guards and centers do cross-train. They get both positions down. Evans-Jenkins recruited as a center, but moved to guard to back up Piper and even Noreen Wheely at some points in time. I thought Justin Evans-Jenkins held up pretty well along that offensive line. I think he's going to be ready to take over for Ben Scott at center, but as that kind of interior swing piece, I saw enough good things from Justin Evans-Jenkins that I like having him around as the guy to build around on that offensive line.
Absolutely. I think as far as young guys go, he would make sense there. Teddy Prohaska still has a lot of upside. I don't know if he completely has lived up or come back from the injuries. It's hard to say lived up. He dominated against Northwestern once, and then we all kind of freaked out about it, got really excited about it. For what it's worth, Dominic Raiola, I think, came in and said, he looks like a guy that's on that trajectory. And so you kind of believe in, what Dominic Raiola would say. So, I'd agree with you. I think Justin Evans-Jenkins is probably at the top of that list. I do think Bryce Benhart's played his way into a conversation of, finally being like, that's a tackle you want to have return in the Big Ten. He's been a question mark for years, and he's finally kind of getting there. So, I know it's always hard with the building block conversation because at what point do guys age out of being a building block?
Well, the age is why I kept Benhart out of that conversation.
Right,
he's probably not going anywhere else, and he can't be around for multiple years anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd agree. Justin Evans-Jenkins would probably be my pick there. Also interested in Henry Lutovsky, who rotated with Norden Uwili, and now that spot's going to open up for him. I think he would be your first pick probably to take that other guard spot. So interested there, not quite building block level, but I just tracking him through, leading up to the start of next season. I believe I would pencil him as the other starter.
Two guys that I left off my list on the offensive line, Gunnar Gatula and Sam Sledge, got good reviews in spring ball and then again in the fall. I just don't know about those guys, how well they would hold up in the Big Ten. So I think they can be, but having not seen them, I'm willing to give them, that time to develop behind the scenes, not force them into playing time when they're not ready for it. Do you have a building block on the roster at quarterback?
I don't think so. It is tough. Purdy's the closest thing to it. Harburg won 5 games. I think both of them, it's hard to say because they're both kind of developmental. But
might have a winner.
There we go. Somebody buying some beer or something. Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's why we're out in the transfer portal. If we're just honest about it, you've got guys with a little bit of potential, guys with starting experience, but not enough shown that most Husker fans have faith in them even to start, next year. So I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, Brad on the text line said he thinks Chuba is that building block. Again, Chuba was better than what Nebraska has. I think there's potential to be a Division I starting quarterback there. I just don't know if it's at Nebraska. Again, being better than what Nebraska showed in the first 10 games does not necessarily mean you are a great quarterback, right? So I'm fine if Chuba Purdy is around. I like him as a backup and a spot starter. But if Nebraska is relying on Chuba Purdy as the starting quarterback next year because either they didn't get someone from the transfer portal or their desired target gets injured, not feeling too great.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because how much does that conversation change? I know you only play the results, but 3 game-winning drive, potentially, all turnovers at the end of them. The Wisconsin one, it kind of had to throw it up, so that one doesn't count as much against him. But maybe take 2 of those. You take 2 of those away. Nebraska wins those games. All of a sudden, Chuba Purdy might be not going after $1 to $2 million quarterbacks. They might be just going after some competition for Purdy. So it's kind of interesting. But any showed flashes. I'm still not completely convinced Wisconsin on the big run play, thought that he had that type of speed. So a little bit of it is just kind of getting tape out there on himself. But I don't know. I wouldn't quite put him in building block, although potential to be there.
Travis and Dalton have thrown out some questions on the quarterback position. We'll get to those in a little bit here. Another guy that both Brad and Augie throw out at the wide receiver position that was on my list is Jalen Lloyd. I think he's just a different type of receiver than you see in the Big Ten a lot. Not a huge guy, tall and lean, but can really run. We saw that with the 3 touchdowns of 50-plus yards for Jalen Lloyd this year. I think he's a guy that brings a different element to Big Ten defenses that they don't see a whole lot. I'll throw Malachi Coleman in that conversation just because I don't want to let those traits walk out the door necessarily. Both those guys have room to grow as wide receivers. But I think if Nebraska goes and gets a true wide receiver 1 out of the transfer portal and can let those guys kind of develop as wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 before stepping into lead roles in 2025, I want both those guys on my roster next year.
Well, and that's interesting. I agree with you. I think those are both building blocks, guys you're very excited about. Again, Malachi less for what he showed on the film or on the field as what Jalen Lloyd did. I mean, Jalen Lloyd's really exciting because he's your home run threat is stepping on the field, obviously, as we saw this past year. But if he can develop more of that game, and then you have to worry about more, that opens up the home run a little bit more. So, I mean, I'm really excited about his future. But I just kind of what you said. I'm interested because I know some people and Coach Rule has kind of talked about the developmental part of this program. That's where they are, and you want to kind of get there. But they have had their leading receiver out of the portal the last 3 years, being a 1-year guy. I don't think that that's a bad plan again this year, like you're saying. And I don't know if it's, until you kind of get your system, your guys in, I don't see it as such a bad thing for Nebraska to do at multiple positions at this point, because that's just where you are in college football now. It's no longer sit and wait till year 3 and 4 of having your guys and developing and slowly bringing them up. It's, hey, if we want to win now, go and get what you can out of the portal, have those other guys get their playing time and develop along the way as well. But the wide receiver position certainly is one that makes the quarterback conversation even more interesting, because they've got some young pieces there, but some would argue they don't have enough proven pieces that it would make quarterbacks want to come in. So a lot of promise there. And it's interesting to see where those guys go in their sophomore season. How big of a jump can you have? Because often they say the biggest jump is from freshman to sophomore season.
For sure. Anyone in the tight end room for you that's a building block?
I think Fedoni is probably past the building block stage, like already cemented as one of your big time players there. So I wouldn't say so. It just kind of depends on how you view him. Certainly, if you don't kind of put him there, he played that way early in the season, kind of faded as the season went on. So you could even argue that, you haven't seen the best of Thomas Fedoni, and I hope that you haven't. I guess I could talk myself into saying Fedoni, but I always kind of just feel like he's already in place.
I didn't say Fedoni with the rumors that are being out there, and with just 1 year of okay production. I don't think there's much behind him, so I think it's nice if you get him back. But I wouldn't necessarily say he's someone I'm depending on to be a lead weapon for this Nebraska team. At running back, I said Emmett Johnson. I don't think he's the guy that Nebraska would want to depend on as a workhorse. I've been team get a running back out of the transfer portal if you're Nebraska, basically since the offseason began. But I like the idea of Emmett Johnson as kind of a home run threat. I don't think we saw the best of Emmett Johnson yet. I think he's a good enough runner, a versatile enough runner that we saw in this limited, playing time that he did get to say, hey, yeah, there's something there. Let's try to keep that guy around and develop him.
Yeah, especially, he had a couple drives there toward the end. And he's not a big guy, but, to
5'11",
be able
190.
Yeah, 5'11" is kind, I think, too. But he's able to, he was able to break some tackles in some of those final drives and get Nebraska in a position to win the game. And that's what you want to see. A guy that's better as the game goes on. He's not physically too imposing. So I like you want to see them maybe add something, maybe that other aspect to it. Somebody that will kind of grind you down. Maybe Gabe Ervin can be that back coming off of injury. I don't think you want to put all your eggs in that basket at this point, but certainly as a young prospect, and already having seen him play, Emmett Johnson certainly is a guy that you would not want to see get out of this program.
Let's take a break. We'll call up Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports, get some insight from the ACC championship game, Florida State being left out of the college football playoff. We'll talk that and more with our man on the inside in Blacksburg when we get back.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness specialize in getting rid of people's pain quickly and permanently. For 31 years, they've been extremely successful with advanced techniques in pain relief using spinal adjustments and decompression, detoxification, diet and lifestyle modification, and more. They are fully equipped to handle the most seasonal athlete, weekend warrior, car accidents, strains, sprains, and more. Is there anywhere you're experiencing pain on your body, or are you fighting decreased energy and depression? Consult Belmont Chiropractic and Novotny Nutrition and Wellness first at 402-476-8619.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today. Attention all Wings fans! 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
School taught you all about the 4 seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
No Strick today. I am Austin, joined by Bach, sitting over there to my left, to the right if you're watching the stream. We have our first entrant. Brock is in with 4 entries. He did buy Bach a coffee and cream ale here from the mill. Bach takes his first sip live on air. Your thoughts?
Man. Very smooth, very good, very, very good. They're not wrong. Cold brew cream ale. If you could just imagine what that tastes like, that's what it tastes like. It's very smooth and very good. I like the hints of almost chocolate or something in there.
Right. That kind of chocolatey coffee kind of vibe. Super smooth, goes down without a second thought. It is very good. Big shout out to our friends at the mill. Their locations that are serving this are here at 1040 O Street, as well as the Telegraph District and Innovation Campus. Let's go to our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. And welcome in our man in ACC country, Mr. Andrew Alex. Andrew, are you a coffee guy, a beer guy, neither or both?
Coffee or beer, neither or both. Definitely both. Is it 5 a.m. or 5 p.m.? That's the only question.
Fair enough. Well, Bach over here is just trying a combination of coffee and beer concoction from our friends here at the mill. So if you are both a coffee and a beer guy and you're ever in the Lincoln area, feel free to stop by the Ticket. I'll buy you one. How's that sound?
Hey, next time I'm in Lincoln, we'll make it happen, dude.
Perfect. You were not in Lincoln. You were in Charlotte for the ACC championship game over the weekend. Florida State wins that game over Louisville. Take us through that game, quarters 1 through 4. What do you think of the Noles? What do you think of the Cards in that big stage?
Well, I mean, obviously, and I'm sure we'll get to it, about how all the dust settles. But, on the offensive side of the ball, I saw pretty much the same thing that members of the College Football Playoff Committee saw. Brock Glenn, third-string quarterback, true freshman for Florida State. Looks like a true freshman who was third string all season for a reason. They had a very challenging time moving the ball and even getting first downs. That being said, they scratched, they clawed, they got the 16 points they needed, and Florida State's defense put on one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. I know that some people want to say, it's, look, I mean, Louisville was a good team. Louisville, had they not gotten beaten by the last second against Kentucky the week prior, would have come into that game number 8. And Florida State's defense rose to the occasion and held them to 6 points. I think that, and using the term I just used, rise to the occasion. That was one of the biggest examples I've ever seen of a defense making up for the complete and total lack of complementary football that they were getting from the other side. They were on the field the entire game, and their results. And by the way, Louisville's defense was no slouch. It was no surprise that Florida State was going to have trouble against them with a third stringer. But Louisville's offense, 30-some-odd points a game all season. And Florida State shut them down. So it was really impressive, and it's a bit of a shame that they weren't rewarded for it.
That is where we have to turn next. Florida State maybe didn't necessarily look the part of a college football playoff contender. It looked more like a Big Ten West contender over these last couple of weeks. They did their best Iowa impression if they were, allowed to go there. But at the same time, they more than deserve the opportunity to either go get their butts kicked or prove that they wouldn't get their butts kicked.
Austin, I couldn't have said it any better myself, man. Look, do I believe that Florida State, without Jordan Travis, is one of the 4 best teams in the country? I do not. I don't think it matters. I think they are close enough with an undefeated record in a Power 5 conference with the quarterback going down. They still managed to beat Florida, an SEC team, and Louisville, who was a top 10 team at multiple points throughout the season, and proved themselves to be a dominant force in the ACC all season long. Do I think that they would lose to Michigan? In all likelihood, yes. That's what I've been kind of telling you guys.
Mm-hmm.
At least you and Strick, Bach, nice to see you. All over throughout the course of the season, I thought that Florida State might be a little bit of a step down. But I think Vegas going out and calling it a 12-point spread is telling, right? Because you know what else Vegas called, nearly a 12-point spread? Washington underdogs against Oregon.
Right.
9-point spread going into the game. 9.5 at times when I saw some people get in. This is why we play the games on the field. Florida State not only ran the table, won almost every game that they played convincingly. Their defense is one of the, if not the tops in the country. Most of the points that they allowed this season were garbage time, prevent defense because Florida State went up so quickly.
Right.
And, it's like people out here say, they couldn't compete. They're nothing compared to Alabama. Alabama almost lost to Auburn, lost to New Mexico State the week before. Yes, there's probably a relatively sized gap between both Alabama and Auburn and New Mexico State. But Auburn kept it close with New Mexico State, or New Mexico State crushed Auburn, and then Auburn, had victory or defeat clutched from the jaws of victory against Alabama with that crazy final play. The moral of the story is there's a reason why we play the games. The ACC had a winning record against the SEC this year, and that's a fact. LSU got pummeled. Jordan Travis got shut down by Florida State. That defense can go out there and compete with anybody. And yes, they might lose, but they deserve the opportunity to go on that stage and lose.
I'm glad you
said I understand what the committee was thinking. I don't think that they got it right, though.
I'm glad you said the word deserved, because it seems like the committee went with the 4 best teams in terms of talent. And right, Alabama's always in that conversation. They beat Georgia, so Georgia's out of there. Instead of most deserving, right? That's why a 2-loss team with maybe more talent has never snuck in. It's why it's been extremely rare for, a team that doesn't play in the conference championship to get into the college football playoff. Because yes, the 4 teams that end up in the college football playoff are typically among the 5 or 6 best, but they're also usually the most deserving because they've either run the table and gone undefeated or they've won their conference. Florida State did both. Alabama did only one of those 2 things. And that's where I think the committee's past rationale of, saying they want the best, but taking the most deserving got flipped right around in its face in this final edition of the 14 playoff.
Yeah. And the interesting part to me, Austin, is that they kind of you can go out, first of all, it has always been the 4 most deserving teams. We had Cincinnati in the playoff 2 years ago. Come on. They were deserving. Mm-hmm. They got it. So they flip it on its side. Now they're saying it's the 4 best teams. Well, but 4 best teams. How did we go from Georgia being number 1 to then number 6 to the 1 loss, right? Mm-hmm. How? Because if we're going to do based on best, right? Throw the Vegas lines out there. If you put Georgia in a matchup against any of the 4 teams that made this playoff, on a neutral site, they would like to be the favorite. And that's probably true. It's probably true.
Andrew, Alex, 24/7 Sports, join us here. Sorry to cut you off there, Andrew. I just want to ask you, too, though, Florida State was at odds with the ACC because of revenue sharing and stuff like that coming into the season. Talk about jumping different conferences. I'm interested to hear if there's been any feelings of frustration with the ACC for not putting up as difficult a schedule as maybe what Florida State needed to get into the playoff. And the only reason I say that is because you can't, like, as mad as you can be at the college football playoff committee, like, you can pound your fist in as much as you want. It's like what you normally would say is we need something to fix this, but the fix is already like built in. It's the 12-team playoff model the next year. Has Florida State, have you heard any frustrations with the ACC coming out of this deal?
Well, Florida State was already pretty frustrated with the ACC and trying to get out. They can't get out because they are locked into a contract till 2035, and it would take a ridiculous sum of money to break that grant of rights. So, yeah, I mean, they think they were frustrated before. I think they would have gotten out if they could before, and now that feeling is just exacerbated. So it's somewhat of an unhappy marriage in that regard. I mean, I've come on this show many times and kind of laid out the history of where the ACC went wrong time and time again between like 2008, 2020 to not keep up with, the SEC and the Big Ten, and they're kind of behind the 8 ball in that regard. But yeah, I mean, Florida State is certainly not happy. I think that, the problem primarily is, right, with the bad deal that the ACC has in terms of, revenue splits and stuff like that. Like, Florida State still has the donor base. They're still going to have all their internal corporate sponsors and NIL programs and stuff that will allow them to remain competitive at the top of the line. Where that misses is for teams like Boston College, like Wake Forest, Syracuse, teams that extra X amount of $1 million per year would actually make a marked difference in the product that they have on the field. So, as I said before, the ACC is really stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm pretty wrapped up in this. So if something was going on, I'd probably know. But as far as I know, there is no active, actionable solution on the table to make things better, and at least not anytime soon.
Andrew, let's turn our attention elsewhere in the conference. Let's go to Durham first. The Blue Devils recently announced the hiring of Manny Diaz as head coach. Of course, Manny Diaz has been a head coach in the ACC before. From the outside, the perception of Manny Diaz's tenure at Miami is that it was terrible. It was a huge step backwards. Not a good coach. Miami underperformed. Manny Diaz did go 8-2 in the COVID year. 6-6, 7-5, the other 2 years. That's not great, but was Manny Diaz's time at Miami as bad as the perception, or is this an okay hire for a Duke team that doesn't have to worry about the same expectations that Miami has in football?
Yeah, I mean, so like overall looking at Manny Diaz at Miami, right? Like, first of all, they gave him 3 seasons. He found himself bowl eligible in all 3. I think that a quick look at Mario Cristobal's tenure, who is obviously a much higher coveted coach coming in, certainly a much more accomplished head coach coming in, and lastly, a much higher paid coach, just across the board, given better resources and what has Miami been able to accomplish, roughly the same thing that they were getting with Manny Diaz. The issues at Miami, I'll never blame on one individual because, it's like if you were to hire someone for a job, 10 times in a row, and all of them had good backgrounds coming in. And every time that person comes in, they fail. That would lead you to believe that there's something institutionally wrong with the job itself that prevents success from being an easy thing. I think Miami's got cultural issues down there that no one man can fix. Maybe Mario Cristobal will be the guy to do it. I think they'll give him plenty of more time to do it. But my overall judgment on Manny Diaz is still that he knows football. He's recruited the area, both, the northernmost area for Penn State and then the southernmost area for Miami. Duke is a unique program insofar as not much of a football tradition, high academic standards. Now you get to play around with transfer portal a little bit because they do have some money floating in that regard. And I think Manny Diaz will do a good job. I think he's a good face for the program. Wouldn't have been my first choice. My first choice would have been Willie Fritz of Tulane. I felt the similarities between the schools, Tulane and Duke, private, academic, maybe a lower priority of football, just a guy that's won everywhere he's gone. Ultimately, he chose to go with Houston. So was Manny Diaz a little bit out of left field? I would say so, but I would give him as good, if not better, of a shot to succeed at Duke than I would give anyone else. The average candidate, at least.
Andrew, plenty of bowl matchups to get to. Maybe we'll get your thoughts on some more in weeks to come. But since you brought up Tulane, and we know you're a Hokies guy, what do you think about your Hokies drawing the mean green wave in the Military Bowl?
No, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So to put it in perspective here, Hokie Nation's being a little bit spoiled right now. The whole Florida State getting left out of the ACC championship thing, the ACC clearly was not anticipating that, and they had to reshuffle all their bowl assignments. So all the news came out like 2 to 3 hours later than it was expected to. So we would know the opponent in the bowl, but not the team. What we learned was that West Virginia was playing in Charlotte during that layover period. And that Virginia Tech was theoretically, and I believe, like, had Florida State won and had Georgia beaten Alabama, somehow it shuffles out to Virginia Tech playing in that bowl game, and people were saying, oh, it's still on the table, what have you. So people got a little bit bummed that we didn't get the chance to have a rivalry game, at the neutral site NFL Stadium. I'm sure it would have been a awesome experience. But overall, granted the team started 1-3. I went on the 247 Sports podcast at Virginia Tech called Inside the Tunnel, if anyone randomly has some keen interest there, and said, if this team makes a bowl game, I'll go. The road to the Military Bowl starts now. And they made it. So as far as potential Military Bowl matchups are, I mean, you get the best group of 5 team over the course of the last 2 seasons. You can make a pretty strong argument that they were the best group of 5 team this season, and they just lost to SMU in the end. I would certainly take them over Liberty, who is going to get absolutely pummeled by Oregon. But the problem is that with Willie Fritz leaving, you are going to have some Tulane players probably entering the transfer portal, the top-end players, the skill players. So I don't know if we're going to get real Tulane. I would have loved a matchup against, like, full-strength Tulane to give you an idea of, is Virginia Tech in this roller coaster season, do they finish the year better than the top-tier group of 5 team that won the Cotton Bowl last year? I would have liked to see that. Either way, now that they're a little bit decrepit in that regard, I'm just hoping for a win. It should be a good experience. As you Nebraska folks know, you can have all that bowl history and you're going year over year over year and you stop and then you miss it. So I'm just excited to have Virginia Tech back in a bowl game. I will be attending, and hopefully the Hokies can take down the green wave.
We'll root for that for your sake as well. Andrew, Alex with us on our Allo VIP line. As always, Andrew, really appreciate the time. We'll catch up, chat some hoops, and maybe some more ACC Bulls in the near future.
Of course. Thank you for having me on. As always, gentlemen, I'll talk to you soon.
Once again, Andrew, Alex with us on our VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Let's throw it to break. Bring in the Husker Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman, waiting next door. We'll cross it over, get you all set up for old school on the other side.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to attend our upcoming Parts and Service Expo events. It's the best time to buy parts all year. Take advantage of specials December 6th through the 15th with additional savings the day of your local expo. Find savings on oil and filters, gifts for under the tree, and most pre-ordered John Deere parts. Visit with our trained and certified technicians and sign up for our service specials. Don't miss out. It only comes around once a year at your local Landmark Implement. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for a complete schedule of our expo events and experience the Landmark difference.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
It's the holiday season, Time for work parties, friend get-togethers, family gatherings, which means lots of eating. Maybe you think you've perfected your holiday meals, and maybe you have no idea where to even start. Let's fix that right now. No holiday party is complete without Führer's cheese spread. It goes well with any type of cracker, pretzels, apple, chili, vegetables, chips, and of course, it's perfect to pair with wine or beer. Holiday meals aren't complete until Führer's cheese spread is on the table. Find your own container at your nearest local grocery store today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Concrete Industries, a Nebco company, has immediate job openings for precast production laborers. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $20 per hour and a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer. Visit concreteindustries.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting increasing cloud cover throughout the day. Meanwhile, we'll see a high of around 56. Tonight, mainly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early on. Otherwise, we'll see a low of around 31. And tomorrow, partly sunny and a little windy. See a high of around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Puckett for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block in 93.7 The Ticket. Jay Foreman modeling the hat that we're going to be giving away here soon.
Got stretched out, man.
Not a word, Jay. We know better. If
Yeah.
Nick was here, he'd say something, but
I
we're
know
not
he would.
Nick.
That's right.
So we like you. We appreciate you.
Put it on Nick. He supposedly just got a haircut.
He's got to stop by so we can see it.
That boy,
Great.
he'd be leaving like the missing link. We putting the APB out for Nick Sainer. Where's Waldo? Where are you right now?
Let's be honest. That's the entire happy hour.
Yeah. That's all right, though.
They got business, I guess.
I
Something
don't know,
like
man.
that.
Nick don't look. Nick's too young to get any breaks, so he ain't getting no break from me.
He's
What's up, fellas?
Not much.
Not too much.
Bach, you look a little different than Strick. How you doing over there? How's that? Are you a southpaw at least?
Say that?
Are you a southpaw?
Oh, no. I'm right-handed.
I think Strick might be ambidextrous or whatever.
Yeah, I think he worked on that. Yeah.
I think he is. Like,
He just is that.
Yeah, I don't think you work on it. I just think you just naturally. I think Strick just naturally gifted because I think I know he shot basketball left hand.
He swung a bat left-handed.
Yeah, and I think he golfs right-handed.
Whoa.
I think he does. I might want to text him and see, but I think he is. I think he can. I think he's ambidextrous.
That's
and I
quite
think
a skill.
and I wonder if he was. I wonder when he played baseball, if he was a switch hitter.
He's told that story before.
Was he?
He was, yes.
Okay.
But then his second year, I think, in Complex League, a coach said
you just only need to hit one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
left
right.
it.
He did tell us the
Mhm.
story. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that lets you know he's ambidextrous.
he
Pretty
also
good.
couldn't hit a curveball.
He said that too?
Yeah.
You couldn't?
Scatter reports out.
Listen, Strick, if you're listening, you ain't the only one that couldn't hit a curveball. There's plenty of dudes in the major leagues can't hit a fastball. Don't worry about it, my brother.
What's on your mind, Jay?
Well,
What's
I mean,
poppin'?
you got NBA play-in championship, playing game championship. We got transfer portal. We got things that must be heating up on I guess supposedly, depends on who you talk to or who you hear stuff from, what Nebraska's possibly doing. And then you got the portal in general. And then we want to do our NFL rankings. And then also, Bach, who, if you had to start a franchise, you watch football? NFL?
He's a Cardinals fan, so he doesn't watch real football.
Yeah, I don't really watch
Damn,
my own
Bach.
team
All
too
right,
much.
well, this is the perfect question for you then.
Yeah.
Since you got Pocket Hercules as your as your franchise quarterback. If you were starting the Cardinals, the Arizona box, or the Arizona Cardinals, they just hired you right from here, 93.7 the ticket, you're the GM.
Thanks, Mr. Bidwell. You finally made a good decision.
Right. Who would you start your franchise quarterback with of all the quarterbacks in the NFL right now?
Well, I mean, like, just out, like, other than Patrick Mahomes?
Everybody besides Patrick Mahomes. Who would you start it with? If you could trade Kyler Murray, who else they got good down there? Nobody else.
That's pretty much it.
Kyler Murray and your whole offense for one guy. Do the Ricky Williams trade all over again.
Boy, that's tough. I mean, Lamar Jackson's up for the MVP, but he's kind of a different type of offense to a degree. He's a young enough quarterback. I don't know. Maybe that's where I'd lean to start off with.
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, because
that's not a bad choice.
I mean, Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, they're kind of your traditional names. Both those guys haven't had the best production in the playoffs. Certainly not this year. So they've probably fallen off just a bit. It's hard to go against Josh Allen, though. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad pick either.
No Trevor Lawrence? Goldilocks? Joe Burrow?
Maybe. I mean, a lot of those guys are turning it down a little
No
bit.
Dak?
Not Dak. No Dak.
Jalen Hurts?
No Jimmy GQ?
No.
No Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Dang, you hard.
Yeah.
No, what about Tua? No Tua?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you're asking me out of, I get my pick of the litter.
Yeah,
then
you
it's
got to pick of the
it's
litter.
gonna be hard.
Lamar Jackson or bust?
I think Lamar Jackson. I'd probably consider Josh Allen. I think it's fair to throw in. No, that's probably where I'd go. Yeah, about those two.
I like those picks. I think Lamar Jackson. I think, you got to definitely play a certain way, but I think he's gotten better as a passer. Now, Bach, to the flip side, if you could have one defensive player besides Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald. Let's just say without Aaron, because he's a little bit older. I mean,
yeah. I really like TJ Watt. I mean, how can you go against the guy that racks up that
Hold on,
many
Bach.
sacks?
There he is. Hey, listen.
Hit him with the point.
Flea feet. That man that just walked across the fan cam. We need to get him come down here and give him a gift certificate so he can get fit for some insoles. My man walk like them dogs is barking.
He's working hard every day.
Yeah, every day he's working. He's putting in that work
in.
From 7:00 in the morning to right now. We need to get him.
We need to get him a deal, an NIL deal.
Yeah, for some insoles because them feet is barking right now.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Any votes for CJ Stroud as your franchise guy?
Me?
Either of you?
Yeah, I don't think I would pick Josh Allen. My pick would be Josh Allen. CJ Stroud, I would definitely, of the younger crop, I would, and that includes Jalen Hurts and the younger up and coming ones. You could throw Tua in there. Between Tua, say Jalen Hurts, and CJ Stroud, I'm taking CJ Stroud.
I like that you threw Lawrence in there. Would you consider him over them?
Yeah, I would consider him in that group. Yeah. So there'd be those four, and I'd still take CJ Stroud. But here's the reason why I would take CJ Stroud. Are you ready for this?
Because he plays in Houston. Segment over.
No, that's not it. Because CJ Stroud, if you didn't see him, he went nose to nose with Singleton, the linebacker at Denver. But the crucial part was, this is how I know he's tight. He's gangster with it. He's slew-footed, just like me. So me and CJ there. He's if you go back and watch it, they have one of those top-down, like kind of 4K videos. It must have been one of the fly-around ones, and a drone. He's slew-footed. So right there, if he continues to play well, I might pick him over Josh Allen, and that's a hard hill to get over.
Jay Foreman, scouting director, is a guy slew-footed, 10 spots up the board.
Hey, that's it. Just like Al Davis. He picked the fastest dude in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
And never works out.
Got Fabian Washington with some money.
Yeah, he was good, but then they picked a guy named Tyler Brayton from Colorado. Had 3 sacks in 4 years at Colorado.
So was the speed the problem, or is Colorado the problem?
Well, he wasn't a good player, but he ran good at the combine, so Al Davis picked him. No, Jamarcus Russell, sight unseen. He picked Jamarcus Russell, sight unseen, too.
Yeah. Zion Williamson is going full Jamarcus Russell. Did you guys hear the comments from the Times-Picayune? Like, yeah, the Pelicans have stressed to Zion that he needs to get his weight down. He just doesn't seem interested in doing it.
Yeah. I wouldn't either. I'd give as much money in the world. Who's going to tell me? My body, my choice.
Hey, listen. Hey, Austin. There goes your clip.
There it is.
Hey, listen, we could just turn the radio. We can just go home. Thank you, Bach.
Yeah.
We can leave early. There it is. Bach right there. Bach is listening here. Come on now, Bach, man. Bach would be in the NBA. He mess around, come in, and be like who's skinny in it? He'd be like a Wemby, and then next thing you know, he's leaving like
Slim Reaper Kevin Durant.
Right. And then he's leaving like Oliver Miller.
Is Bach just Chet Holmgren? Stretch potential.
He does look like he got a little game.
A little Chet in it?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hoop, Bach?
I can shoot. I wouldn't say I can hoop, but I can shoot.
Got a little Kyle Korver in you?
Yeah.
You look like you got one of them crane jumpers way back here.
Oh, no.
Larry Bird style?
Those are tough to defend.
Hey, you have a fan in there. Rico said you got a 3.
Oh, yeah. I do have a shot. That's what I said. I can shoot. I don't have necessarily natural athleticism to hoop, but
hey, that's a attribute that is sorely missed out here, to be able to shoot.
Yeah,
you're hired. You're the hired
guy.
Are you
in the corner?
You're a corner.
Yeah,
corner. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Buck. Okay, the hard shot in basketball. Sign it. Golden State. You need him.
That's right.
Go get him. Jay Foreman on the left. Bach, thanks for filling in these last couple hours. It's been a blast. I'm Austin Norman. That's it for On the Block this week. Don't go anywhere though, Jay Foreman. Probably a little bit of me here on Old School. We'll be right back.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage